Good morning. Welcome everyone to the inaugural PayTech Southeast Asia 2022 conference by Grab. We will begin shortly. Some house rules. For those who are on site in Singapore and Malaysia, gentle reminder to keep your mask on at all times unless you're consuming food and beverage. For those joining us virtually, make yourself comfortable and we'll begin shortly.
Very good morning and a big warm welcome to the first PayTech conference by Grab. My name is Karen and I'm super happy and honored to be your host for today. It's been a while since I've seen so many people gathered physically in one space, and I'm not sure about you, but I've definitely missed in-person events. There's just something about the energy in the room, feeling the vibrations, seeing smiling faces. I know most of you are wearing masks, but I can still see your smiling eyes through the mask. And what else do I miss about in-person events? Refreshments, free food, free coffee, awesome goodie bags. Anywho, I'm super excited to see everyone here at our new Grab office in Singapore. We also have hundreds of virtual attendees that are joining us virtually from not just Singapore, but Malaysia and Philippines. So for those of you online, selamat pagi, kamusta? I hope everyone is safe and well from wherever you're joining us from today. We also have attendees that are on site in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, in the very good hands of my co-host, Adam. Adam, could you tell us how is the vibe, how's the energy, and how's the atmosphere over there in KL?
Hi, Karen. The atmosphere here is wonderful and electric, and I'm thankful that everyone's here today. But I think we're ready to start. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera. My name is Adam Iskandar and I'll be your co-host here in Malaysia. PayTech is a regional payments industry conference organized by Grab, and today we have an amazing lineup of speakers, both on site and online, to share their insights. Today we have a jam-packed agenda. Before we hand the stage over to our partner Ardian, head of GrabPay Malaysia, Priyanka Medan, will give us a quick opening. We will then head back to Singapore, where Priyanka Gargav, Commercial Head of Southeast Asia and Hong Kong for Ardian, will share insight into gaining a competitive advantage with your payment strategy. We will then have Sing Ang from Grab's market research team here with us to share her findings about the mobile wallet user. We will then have a simultaneous panel from Singapore, Malaysia, and the Philippines that will take place across the stages around the alternative payments in the e-commerce ecosystem. Before we head into the various breakouts, we will hear from some of our Grab leaders in business and product. And lastly, each city will be breaking into their own session. Audience on site here with us in Singapore and Malaysia will continue our session in our respective rooms. Those of you dialing in virtually, the respective links has been sent to you in the reminder email, so do please make sure to click on those links right after this. We would like to share what payments means to us here at Grab and why we decided to host this conference. We have Priyanka Medan, Head of GrabPay Malaysia, to do the honors. Please welcome Priyanka Medan.
Hello, good morning, everyone, and a very, very warm welcome to the first ever PayTech 2022 conference hosted by Grab. It is very exciting to be speaking to everyone online and in two venues simultaneously. It just never gets old. And it is a great way to be kicking off our very first online payments merchant conference. I'd also like to begin with extending a really big thank you to our partners in building our ecosystem and helping us get where we are today. Some of them we are thrilled to have here today with us, and I'm sure they'll be thrilled to share their expertise with you all later today. Our partnership truly extends beyond just being transactional. These partners have been pivotal to us in providing our merchants with familiar and easy ways to make payments available through GrabPay and Pay Later online. Not to forget, an even bigger shout out to all our merchant partners from all possible sectors who have believed in us and supported us in our journey so far. Payments, as you can imagine, is an important part for us at Grab, as it is for you. We started thinking about payments from a merchant perspective ourselves. We've developed a solution that not only works for us at Grab, but has also become a very integrated part of the lives of 22 million monthly active users we have across Southeast Asia. Let me illustrate this better by sharing our payments journey with you. 2012, Grab was born in the form of My Taxi. We rebranded to Grab in 2016, but that doesn't stop us from celebrating our 10 years this year. Payments as an integral part of our own strategy has been important to us in that journey. Like all of you here, we operate in this tricky market of Southeast Asia and are constantly designing solutions for our Southeast Asian consumers. Questions that are fundamental to us include, how exactly are these customers interacting with their mobile phones? What do they consume and purchase? What are their fears? What are their desires? And what are their motivations? Exactly the questions that you have on your mind. 2016, we introduced our much-loved Grab Rewards program. One of the things that constantly comes up in our research is how consumers, no doubt, are motivated by rewards, and hence we launched Grab Rewards in 2016. Grab Rewards today is a consistent currency of loyalty across all our products, including when they make payments with GrabPay on all our merchant platforms. I bet I have a lot of fans of Grab Rewards here in this room together with me. 2017 marked the launch of GrabPay. For many micro SMB merchants in the region, GrabPay would have been their first digital or cashless form of payment that they accepted that did not require them to invest in any hardware or infrastructure. While we remain a popular mode of payment for many offline merchants with small transaction values, GrabPay has further endeavored into full-service restaurants, consumer and retail merchants, and many, many more. To name a few, we are with Isetan and Charles & Keith in Singapore, Watsons and Aeon in Malaysia, and IKEA and Uniqlo in Philippines. And this is not even touching the surface. For GrabPay users, we have become a rewarding alternate payment method compared to cash and bank transfer, and at many times, even credit cards. Just look up for my team later, and they'll tell you how we beat credit cards. 2019 was the launch of GrabPay Online. This was our entry into the e-commerce space. Online merchants whose transactions are made online through an app, just like ours, or an online web store can now accept GrabPay. There are great synergies between GrabPay and online merchants since Grab's user base is super familiar with making transactions on online platforms. And not to forget the amazing Grab Rewards that we bring along. GrabPay is also a safer way to complete transactions with lowered risk against credit card frauds. And it also includes value-added services such as Grab's buyer protection, which extends across all online shoppers. End of 2022, so exciting. We launched our first very own buy now, pay later solution across Singapore and Malaysia markets. Pay later, as you all may know, has been beneficial to our many merchants by breaking down the barriers to purchasing. We offer shoppers options to make post-payment in 1 month or in 4 installments over 4 months. Pay later also broadens the options for online payments for Grab's shoppers. Depending on their basket size or their financial needs, they choose for themselves whether they want to pay now with pay later or defer their payment with pay later. 2021, super exciting. It marked the acceleration of online payments. Overall, we saw our total payments value grew by more than 4x year on year in 2021. Our recent brand health survey suggests that in Malaysia, undoubtedly mobile wallets are the top choice of payment amongst all the shoppers. This mode of payment is easily 2 times more preferred than credit or debit cards, and is 60% higher ranked than the second most preferred of bank transfer. I'm sure you all concur with me when I say bank transfers are quite cumbersome. So we therefore thought there's no better time to launch our very first own conference on online payments to engage and encourage more discussions around the progress of online payments technology with our merchants and strategic ecosystem partners, which is really why we are all here today. As Kareen and Adam mentioned, we have a jam-packed agenda ahead for you all, so let me not keep you away from it. But I truly hope that you leave today with some new inspiration of thinking about the future of online payments. I wish to thank you all again for being here today and a super great ahead and event. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanka, for taking us through Grab's own payment journey. Yes, we are really excited that we are celebrating 10 years of Grab in 2022, and we have all of our partners and merchants to thank. Hey, Kareen, I know the next speaker is with you in Singapore. Could you do the honors, please?
Absolutely delighted to, Adam. You know, Priyanka was just saying that we're celebrating 10 years here at Grab, and wow, time really flies. 10 years is also exactly my age, so I can really relate to that. Now, it's a real pleasure for me to invite Priyanka Gaga, Commercial Head of Adyen for Southeast Asia and Hong Kong, here today to deliver our next presentation. Priyanka joined Adyen in 2019, and her mandate enables merchants across various sectors to accept payments, block fraud, open new markets, and new revenues. Wow, that is a lot. Before joining Adyen, Priyanka held several roles at TripAdvisor, including launching their flights vertical and growing their instant booking business in APAC. Now, if you don't already know, Adyen is the payments platform of choice for many of the world's leading companies, such as Facebook, Uber, Spotify, Singapore Airlines, L'Oreal, and of course, Grab. They provide end-to-end infrastructure connecting directly to Visa, MasterCard, and other preferred payment methods, of course, including GrabPay and PayLater. Please put your hands together and join me to welcome Priyanka.
A very good morning to all of you. It is so wonderful being here in person. And welcome to all the people who are joining us in Malaysia. It's really a pleasure to see people in person, as Karen already said. Let me start off by saying that it gives me a special kind of joy to follow a woman as a speaker. And looking at the lineup, I was really thrilled to see that this might be the first conference I've been to with a predominantly female speaker lineup. So well done, Grab. Good job. I don't know if it was intentional, but good job. It makes me really happy. Feminist to the core, so good job. Very happy to be here. Very green slide here. The color of Adyen as well as the color of our hosts, Grab. Thank you for having us here. I'm Priyanka. I represent Adyen. Karen's given you a bit of flavor to what we do. Adyen is a Dutch company established 2006. When it started, the idea was to help businesses get on a single platform to accept payments. There was a patchwork of systems, online, offline. You had to do something separate for your mobile payments. You had to do something separate for your e-commerce. You had to do something separate for in-store. And Adyen came to being to solve this problem, not only across different channels, but across different countries. I'm here today to talk about how you can make payments a competitive advantage for your business. So let me start. All the trends we've been seeing over the last decade have really been turbocharged over the last 2.5 years of the pandemic. Digitization, the move from offline to online, the move to accept different forms of payment methods. Everything seems to be coming at us faster and harder than it ever has. And consumers' expectations of brands have also changed for good in line with what is happening around the world. It is not easy being a brand competing against everyone else in the current scenario. So we had a survey undertaken, and It was a huge survey, 40,000 consumers across 29 countries, and more than 9,000 respondents in Asia Pacific. The markets included Singapore, Malaysia, Australia, Japan, Hong Kong. And I'm here today to talk to you about the 3 trends and areas where payments can be a strategic advantage to your business. So let's start with the first one, right? The first one is that consumers expect flexibility in their shopping journeys. Now, during the pandemic, all the retailers had to allow you to shop online because, let's be honest, they had no choice. When the lockdowns happened, you had no choice. The shops were closed. So if you needed something, you had to shop online. Now, 61% of our respondents felt that retailers should deliver the same cross-channel flexibility that they provided during the pandemic. Now, this cross-channel flexibility, many people tend to think of it as only being available online, but we think of it in a broader way. So I'm talking about the ability to check out a product online, shop for it online, and then maybe collect it in store. Or maybe I have bought something online and I want to return it in store. Honestly, I've done all of these journeys over the last 2 years, and I enjoy it. I enjoy being able to choose how I interact with my favorite brands, and I expect to continue to have this flexibility going forward. Now, flexibility is not limited to the channel. It is also touching on payment methods. And a great example is Grab, right? 2020, I think I heard, was a launch of GrabPay. GrabPay later launched, and we have seen consumers expect to see those payment methods in the website when they are trying to check out. So this is not a bad thing for merchants, though. You see, when merchants offer flexibility to their consumers, they win as well, because flexible and seamless checkout leads to reduced cart abandonment. And isn't that what we are all aiming for? After all the effort we put into getting the consumers onto our website, get them to choose a product, right choice, right price, right user interface, and then to lose someone just because of the wrong payment options would just be a terrible, terrible thing. So this is a good thing for merchants as well, to be able to provide all their consumers with the kind of choice that they seek. Now, let me give you some examples and paint some pictures for you. McDonald's started on their unified commerce journey even before the pandemic. And they've done a wonderful job of putting together their different channels. But what I personally really enjoy is their app. You add whatever you want to the app. There are promotions. There are free fries with your burger. You add all of that to the cart. You order online. You can collect in store. But in certain countries, what they've started rolling out is one step further. You can choose what you want, choose your payment method of choice, and then the app automatically detects where you are based on geolocation, says, these are the 3 McDonald's you're closest to. Where do you want to place this order? It's taking the convenience one step further. And then you see, okay, this is the one which I want to go to. You place your order, you go there, pick up your parcel, and you're done. Simple, easy, fuss-free, and honestly, what I want to do at the lunch hour. I don't want to queue up. I don't want to think too much. Closer to home, and this one is one of my favorites, Zalora. Zalora added, and I'm now talking about payment methods as a flexibility. Zalora added GrabPay and GrabPay later in particular as a payment method. And the results they saw were truly astonishing. The increase in new customers was 20%. And the increase, and I think this is the more important one, basket sizes for existing consumers increased by more than 10% in Singapore and more than 30% in Malaysia. Now, isn't that really fantastic? Your existing customers are willing to purchase a bigger basket size from you because you've offered a new payment method. There's a QR code there. You can scan it and you can read the story online because there's a case study on it. But it talks about the strength of the Grab Pay Later being offered through Adyen for a merchant online and how it can really impact sales. Let's move on. Trend 2, consumers love to be rewarded but want the process to be simpler. Priyanka before me spoke about Grab Pay rewards. How many of you actually use it? It's pretty good, right? I see some show of hands. I would expect that in a Grab audience. But yes, I like Grab rewards as well. Unfortunately, a lot of reward programs are not living up to the expectations that consumers have. More than 60% of the consumers in Asia Pacific felt that we need to improve on the loyalty programs that are being offered to them. Now, how many of us have gone to a store and they're like, are you a member? Yes. Do you have a card? Sorry, no. Or do you have an app? Sorry, I deleted it like a month ago. Don't make it cumbersome. It needs to be simpler for people to use their loyalty points, get their loyalty points. Again, as always, let me paint a picture for you. Love Bonito, Singaporean fashion brand. I'm hoping there is at least some people wearing Love Bonito here today, one of our merchants. And Love Bonito does a fantastic job of recognizing you across online as well as in-store and giving you your reward points. And they do a good job of it because they're not expecting you to have any of the paraphernalia, a card or an app associated with it in order to capture your loyalty points. And I think that is essential. But going one step further, Dunkin' Donuts in the US uses payments as a way to recognize you for loyalty. So let's say you go to a Dunkin' Donuts store, you're a loyal customer, they have your details. You tap using the exact same credit card you have used on the app in the past. The system will recognize you. There's tokenization involved. They don't have the customer's data, so it's all safe and securely managed. But they recognize that you're shopping there not for the first time. And they will record it and give you the points which are due to you. So they're making it even more seamless for you to be part of their loyalty program. It is something that I think many brands could work on and get better at. Moving on, trend 3, powering growth with real-time payments data. Now, we talk about data so much that I wish we would be able to come up with more insights which are specific and actionable. So this is what we heard from consumers. More than 50% of consumers in APAC felt that they would like retailers to remember their preferences and previous shopping behaviors, and less than 30% are actually doing it. Now, that's not a number that makes you very happy. And who better at remembering your preferences and getting you to buy more than Amazon? It does a great job. It does a great job of recognizing what kind of things you're most likely to shop for. And it takes it all the way back to their back to stocking their warehouses with the kind of things they know will be purchased in the future. So they're taking that data and utilizing it end to end. And that's how you end up with a stack of boxes which is much bigger than what you initially planned to purchase from Amazon. True again for some other fashion retailers such as Shein, does a fantastic job of using consumer data to predict what you are most likely to shop for. So here's the crux of the matter. We are seeing a shift towards unified commerce. And what that means is that neither in-store nor online exists in isolation. Rather, it exists together. And the retailers who are doing the best job at bringing all of these channels together will be the ones who will be able to make it big. And everything we say today is a moving goalpost. The only real test is to continuously innovate your payment strategy to keep up with the latest trends and what consumers' expectations are. Thank you. That is a QR code for our retail report, our global retail report that has just come out. And we hope to have the APAC one out very soon as well. Thank you very much. You've all been wonderful, and I'll pass it on. Thanks.
Thank you for the great sharing, Priyanka. That was certainly useful information, I'm sure, for us here in the room and for hundreds of our merchants who are dialing in online. I've not forgotten about you. Our next speaker will be presenting from Malaysia, and she's also a female speaker. So Adam, I'm going to pass over the baton to you.
Thanks, Karen. It brings me great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Sing Ang. Sing Ang is our head of GFG and DG Bank Research, Regional Market Research and Insights at Grab. Typically, her team delivers insights to Grab teams and influences our business decisions internally. Today, we have the opportunity to have her share these insights directly with you, our valued merchants. Are you curious about mobile wallet users? Well, Sing Ang has crawled through Grab's knowledge of our own users to demystify the wallet users for you all today. I would like to introduce Sing Ang.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. It is an honor to be invited to speak and meet everyone today. This is probably one of the first time after 2 years to meet a big crowd in person. Okay, I'm Sing Ang from Regional Market Research and Insights in Grab. So my role is mainly managing all the surveys which is GFG related. Okay? So we collect insights from consumers, merchants, and also drivers partner to help us make informed decisions and strategize to constantly improve and grow further. Okay? So today we collected different sources to actually come up with these 3 broad topics. First, we're going to talk about mobile wallet usage, why people are using it, and also who are actually using it, right? Next is buy now, pay later. We're also going to talk about why people are using Bnpl, and in the entire sessions later, I'm going to use the abbreviations of Bnpl. And last is what's next. So I think Priyanka before me mentioned about consumer expectations are changing for good. So this is probably one of the sessions that we're going to talk about it more. All right. So without further ado, let me start with the first topic today. Okay, here is some of the projections that we have from the Global Payments Report 2022 from Worldpay. So digital wallet shares in APAC is expected to rise over $3.1 trillion in 2025. Okay, and this is driven by digital wallet offering superior checkout solutions and also flexibility. Okay, but some of you might ask, then what about Southeast Asia, right? Because this number is just APAC. Okay, so which is the next slide that I'm going to share with you. Towards the end of 2019, this is one of the surveys that we did with external Nielsen Payments Brand Health, and we have started it in 2019 to currently. All right. So this is among online populations. In 2019, there's only around 27% of consumers, online populations, use mobile wallet once. And this number grew to 52% over the past few years. Okay? They don't stop there because this kind of behavior sticks. This means that consumers actually use mobile wallet as their most often payment methods over other payment methods that they used previously before pandemic, okay? So it was 30% increased to 42%. So yes, behavior is difficult to change, and due to pandemic, people change, right? Next, we talk about buy now, pay later, Bnpl, right? So we did a surveys among our consumers, Grab consumers. So in early of the year 2021, it was only about 50% who are aware of buy now, pay later. But towards the end of the year, within the same year, right, the awareness actually increased from 50% to 81%, right? And they also used it before. So overall, this is a very promising numbers. because the growth is significant over a very short period of time. So I believe that some of the people actually mentioned, you know, Bnpl is just new, right? But yes, they are new, but the growth is really significant within the short period of time. Okay. Therefore, I think it's very important, you know, to also consider having these two solutions in your business. Okay. So next, we survey mobile wallet users to understand why they are using mobile wallet, right? This helps us to determine what to double down on, okay? Just to make sure that we have competitive edge over other players, right? So first is value of rewards. I believe just now we also understand from Priyanka that rewards is also very important. So everyone enjoys being rewarded. Rewards doesn't mean promotions, doesn't mean discount all the time. So one of the surveys that we did was to understand what kind of rewards people want, right? And Grab Rewards is being highlighted, okay? Because it's not just collecting points, right? But it's also what they can do with the points, okay? So it is in the form of variety and also practicability of these rewards points. So what we want to share is that, Grab Rewards point, you can actually offset it with the purchase, both online and offline platform. All right, next is about wide acceptance. So today, every one of you, I would like to thank all of you because your merchants are offering payments, digital payments method, which is mobile wallet, and these help consumers to have choices to make, So that's why they actually use it, okay? And what sets GrabPay apart is on top of being accepted online and offline, GrabPay can also be used for everyday services, especially Grab app, for food delivery and also pay for transport. Okay? And last, which is ease of use, people like things that is easy to use. So not complicated, but some functionality that is different from other mobile wallet. So this is more of a hygiene factor of mobile wallet because they have the ability to make transfer to merchants, make transfer to their friends and family, and also easy top-up process available for them. All right. So next, I would like to double-click on the wide acceptance that I mentioned just now. It is, so like what I mentioned just now, it is building on Grab ecosystem, which GrabPay can pay for app services. But on top of that, it is also about everyday spending, which is F&B, retails, and also shopping retails. So these are the top use cases of mobile wallet. Okay? So one thing that you can notice is that online shopping is one of the top use cases for mobile wallet across these three markets. Okay? And what they pay with mobile wallet is basically fashions, personal cares, groceries, beauty and cosmetic, also home kitchen appliances, and personal electronic devices. Okay? But I would like to draw your attention to this list, right? Later on, when we go through Buy Now, Pay Later section, it is very different, okay? So, I think for mobile wallet, the last slide, we talk about why people are choosing mobile wallet over other payment methods for online purchases. So there are top three. First is, of course, faster checkout process. Okay, imagine like last time we are okay with the line being slow, right? But now people don't have that patience. So mobile wallet is preferred over other payment methods because of the checkout process. Second, accumulate rewards and cashback. Like I mentioned, it's not just discount, but it's a variety of, and also attractiveness of the rewards. And last is quick refund. Okay? So imagine if you have anything, you want refund, you want it to be faster. Okay. So now we'll go ahead with Buy Now, Pay Later. Okay. So this is a report that is shared by Google, Temasek, and Bain in 2021. So digital lending, including buy now, pay later, is expected to hit 92 billion in transaction in Southeast Asia. Then everyone will ask, why do people want to use buy now, pay later? Okay? So one of the surveys that we did, right, is why people are using buy now, pay later. So we always talk about, bigger value items, Okay? But on top of that, actually there are people who want to use buy now, pay later to manage their expenses. Also, cash flow. Because some of the months people might spend more. So they don't want to overspend, so they will actually choose for deferred payment across a few months. So then this will actually help them to manage the cash flow properly. And internally, we did a quick deep dive into people who actually sign up buy now, pay later with us, right? Okay, so this is amongst card users. So what we found out is that we actually, with buy now, pay later, benefited debit card only users because this helped them to have more options to manage their finances. Okay? This also illustrates that we have established a strong product market fit with these segments of user, giving them more options. Right? Next is larger basket sizes. So just how Priyanka also mentioned a few examples of basket sizes. So let me give you an example and also what we are seeing internally. So assuming that offline GrabPay is the lowest because of everyday transactions like food and beverages. So these are the ones with lower basket size. Okay? Then we launch online GrabPay. The average basket size actually double. Okay? Next, we launch online pay later postpaid. It actually 9 times larger than offline GrabPay. And last, we introduce installments, and it is actually 18 times larger than overall offline GrabPay payments. Okay. So this is very important because it also further strengthens some of the research and findings that we did, okay, to understand Malaysia consumer, why they choose certain payment methods and when they actually switch different payment methods. So what we found out is that there is a tipping point of 500 mark where people start switching to other payment methods, including installments. Okay? And what do they pay with installments and also buy now, pay later, right? These are the top categories. So if you can imagine a few slides before, it is about fashions, groceries. But for buy now, pay later, the categories is very different, which is personal devices, home furniture, kitchen appliances, and the fourth one, which is travel. So this is something new because it is very recent that we did this survey. Now the borders is open, everyone wants to fly. Everyone wants to go travel. So these are the common category that people purchase with buy now, pay later. Okay, so what is next? And what to expect in the second half? What consumer want, right? As we look for constant improvement, we also survey our consumers. What do they expect when it comes to mobile wallet and also digital payments? Okay. So this is one of the surveys, one of the questions that we asked. 74% of our consumers feels that it's very important to have choices of payment options. Okay. All right. Then this is the internal data. We deep dive into all our consumers who make payments via different options. What we found out is that a person who are using GrabPay online, offline, and also pay later online generally transact 6 times more frequent as compared to a person who only have one type of payment options. Okay? So because this is important, right? Then we know actually flexibility is important. And also having more options is something that consumers like. Therefore, they will come to us because we offer choices for them to make payments. Okay, I've been sharing a lot of numbers. I think maybe I should share something more interesting on understanding our shoppers. So this is one of the trends that we observe over a 3 years' time amongst online shoppers. I actually break this into two broader groups. Okay? First is who is younger, which is less than 30 years old. So the summary is basically people who are younger actually shop less frequent. Less frequent because, first, the disposable income is lesser. That's definitely. But second, is because of their disposable income is lower, they often choose sales day to make transactions. So without sales, they will wait, maybe add something in their carts, but never check it out, right? Okay. And what do they usually like to, purchase? Because there are people who want to stay on top of trends. They care a lot about their appearances. So things that they purchase are usually fashions, beauty, cosmetic, and also esports, which is very different from later on the other group. Okay? And the one thing is because they are so sensitive towards price, right? So usually when they go into a website, they will browse many different sellers. Okay? Then only they start making choices because they want to make sure that they get the best price out of it. And also, if there's promotion, they will definitely use it. And this also means that they are less sticky to only one sellers. Okay? They are more exploratory. Okay? And internally, the last two is what we observe. They shop less frequent, but every time there's a sales, the numbers went out among this group of people. And also, they are generally the smaller basket size shoppers. Okay? Moving on to old age, which is 30 years old and above. Okay? They shop weekly for what my family needs. Why? Because I believe that this group of people, they already started their families, they are married, they have kids. Okay? And they are definitely the key decision maker for household. So what they shop is usually groceries, kitchen appliances, and also personal care. Okay? Imagine if a person that needs, buy all the household products, shampoo is out, I need to buy. Okay? Let's say ice cream, snacks, everything went up, I buy, right? So that's why they are the people who shop very often. Anytime anything run out of stock, they will buy. So the purchases is made throughout the whole year. And the thing is, they already know what to buy, and they need to buy a lot, so they don't have to go explore many different websites. They will usually stick to only a few. Okay? And internally, we also realize that this group of people are the ones who make a lot of transactions. It's generally 25 to 55% more as compared to younger age, and also their basket size is much larger, which is 15 to 45% larger. Okay, so that's all for my sharing today. But I would like to, amplify the 3 key points for today, 3 key insights. First is users are driven by rewards. Like I shared, the motivations are rewards, right? But rewards doesn't mean discount all the time. Okay, so maybe we think about other ways, attractive way to actually offer rewards to consumers. Okay? Second is demand is there. So let's not think that Bnpl is niche. It's something that we should consider offering, and it's also flexibility and choices for our consumers. And last, because they need flexibility, and what we offer right now is pay now, pay later, and also whether they want to split by 4 months. Okay, I will let Wenbin later to talk more about how do we double down on this particular area in the second half. Thank you for my sharing today.
Thank you, Sing-Ang, for that presentation. There's so much to learn about the mobile wallet user. And I think that was a really good segue to our next item on the agenda, which is the panel session. Hey, Karin, I hope you're there. I think it's time for me to pass the baton back to you.
I got it. Always there for you, Adam. So as you might have guessed from the chairs on the stage, Next on our session is a power-packed lineup of panelists who will be speaking from Singapore, Malaysia, and Philippines. Truly an all-round representation of the region. For me, it's super cool because it's my first time seeing a panel discussion where you have live participants, you have virtual participants, and you're doing it in 3 different countries. Moderating this session is our very own Tess Chia, Communications Lead for the Grab Financial Group. I will let Tess do the honors of introducing our panelists. Big welcome to you, Tess.
Very good morning, everybody. So glad to see all of you. I'm Tess from Grab Financial Group, and I'll be moderating our panel discussion today on alternative payments in the e-commerce ecosystem. We're so privileged to have with us an esteemed lineup of panelists who'll be sharing on insights on the latest alternative payment trends and the tools and platforms you can leverage to power your e-commerce growth. So first up, we have GD, Head of Business Development from Shopify. And we have Sarita Singh, Revenue Growth Lead for Southeast Asia at Stripe. Over in Malaysia, we have Yvonne Kong, Business Development Manager from All IT Hypermarket. Kanan Rajaratnam, Regional Director of Payments from Zalora. And last but not least, we have Martha Borja, Head of Grab Financial Group, Fintech Philippines. Thank you so much for joining us today. All right, let's dive right in. Kana and Yvonne, as merchants, what has been the impact of alternative payments in your business?
Okay, before the alternative payment came into the picture, the common payment options at the online are just credit cards and FPX. But since the e-wallets and buy now, pay later are in, things have leveled out. When someone buys online, besides the products that they are searching for, they are actually looking for a few more things, like ease of use, quick processing, convenience. Buy now, pay later is something new to them. And if it's easily, readily available at the checkout page, if it's easy to use, it's interest-free, why not? If you go to the All IT website, you will actually see the price divider at the bottom of each product. For example, a product that has a price tag of 400, it will also show 100 times 4. In other words, you can pay 400 now, or pay 400 next month, or pay 100 over the next 4 months. All right, the keyword here is actually flexibility. Okay, this has not just increased the customer's purchasing power, it has also, by making the item more affordable, it has also decreased the chances of the cart abandonment. Since we introduced the buy now, pay later at our website, we see there's an increase of new shoppers. That's because we leverage on the platform's database and we tap into the untapped market. The promotions that the platform aggressively pushes, it has not just brought us the new shoppers, it has also managed to convince and convert the existing customers to try the new payment also, the new payment. Well, that's already a win-win situation. And based on the factors that I've mentioned above, our customers are actually very happy and satisfied with a seamless experience. All these, it has proven that it's an effective way to boost the sales and conversion rate, especially with the younger groups.
Thanks, Yvonne. Hannah?
Right, can you hear me? Right, thank you everyone, super excited, super happy to be here and looking forward to share and learn from the rest of the panelists and also the audience today. For Zalora, we currently offer about 30 payment channels. It's quite extensive if you look at it, given that we only operate through 6 different platforms serving 8 countries. The main reason or the key strategy or the thought process behind this is to enable customers to have as many options as possible and also to have a wide array of choice when they're making payments. So just looking at the 2 key things, right? So the main drivers for the thought process is actually trying to leverage on two different organizations with a common goal in achieving better customer traffic, higher transaction value, and also improve the stickiness and increase the customer's lifetime cycle or lifetime expenses with us. So that is the main trends and the reasoning behind the thought process that we have in Zalora.
Thanks so much, Kanan. All right, moving on to a hot topic, BNPL, and a question for all of our panelists. So digital financing, including BNPL, is expected to hit 92 billion in transactions in 2025 in Southeast Asia, up from 23 billion in 2020, according to a 2021 report by Google, Temasek, and Bain. So how is your organization preparing for growth in the BNPL market? GD, if you can start.
And really looking forward to the discussion today. Completely agree with everyone else who'd spoken earlier in terms of the growth of popularity of BNPL. Whether we're looking at consumers or whether we're looking at merchants, we've really seen it grow, especially in the uncertain times that we've seen in the last couple of years. When we look at consumers, there are household incomes, which actually got a bit challenged. Also, there are financial strains that, they had to bear. So when they come back as shoppers, we have seen obviously limited budgets that they're working with. And, there is apprehension and they get deterred when they have to actually make lump sum payment upfront. Now BNPL actually provides them that option, specifically in Southeast Asia, where a lot of the consumers, they don't really own credit cards. Singapore, of course, is an exception to the rule. But now these consumers in Southeast Asia, they actually have an option for a safe credit solution, which is interest-free. And they're making purchases which, they might have earlier not really considered if they didn't have that option. And similarly for merchants, completely agree with what Yvonne said, that, merchants are actually seeing more sales in bigger basket, sort of bigger values or higher, items. And they're also seeing higher, sort of order values and lesser cart abandonment. And overall, it's been covered earlier as well, shoppers are really looking for flexibility in terms of payment methods. And we at Shopify, we understand, this requirement and really want to enable our merchants to deliver on this buyer expectation. So we've recently made ShopPay installments, which is our version of BNPL, available to US merchants, last year. And in markets such as Southeast Asia, we're really working closely in collaboration with leading regional players such as Grab, to provide BNPL.
Thanks, GD. Sarita.
Thanks, Tess. Good morning to everybody here and in the Philippines and in Malaysia and merchants everywhere. As merchants, don't we want to be where our customers are at? We want to meet them where they are at. And I think the challenge for us is, what does that actually mean? It looks different in different markets, and we've heard about flexibility, but actually localization is also something that is key, and we need to be able to build for that. And so flexibility in payment methods and that localization looks different in different markets and for different consumer segments. So it could be things such as offering Pay Now in Singapore. It could be konbini and bank transfers in a place like Japan. It could be, different types of wallets in different markets. And so Stripe, as a global payments infrastructure provider, we're looking to work with merchants, such as many of you, to make the experience not only flexible, to your point, GD, but also seamless. And so as it pertains to BNPLs, we have certainly seen that on the Stripe network, that the consumer demand for BNPLs is only going to escalate, and that growth is kicking off right now. That hockey stick is happening. And so the question is, how do we offer that in a way that is meaningful for the consumers that we serve, but is also meaningful for the businesses and all of your businesses as merchants? And so when I think about the work that we do at Stripe, working with some of the world's biggest BNPLs, from Affirm, Afterpay, and Klarna, what is the impact on consumers as well as all of your businesses. So as we've heard, consumers are definitely demanding it, and we know that. But what we have also been able to actively measure when you're working with BNPLs on the Stripe platform, we've seen that merchants on average have been able to see an uplift of 27% in sales volume. Real revenue, real sustainable growth. And I know as merchants, it can seem overwhelming. This is not necessarily your core business, financial infrastructure. But what Stripe wants to do is extract away the complexity for you to adopt BNPLs. And by doing so, you can meet your customers where they're at. And so we want to think about how that customer journey goes along, how you increase your average order value, how you increase customer stickiness so that they are coming back over and over again. And it shouldn't be a difficult process to adapt BNPL solutions. And through Stripe's Global Payments and Treasury Network, that is a fairly seamless integration. And if you think about all the financial services as businesses that you need to undertake, from tracking and ensuring that you're adhering to tax or to invoicing and billing, etc., you don't want point solutions for that. You want to focus on your business while making sure that your financial services infrastructure is seamless. And BNPL is definitely something that you should be thinking about offering, but doing it in a way that is lighter touch for all of your businesses.
Absolutely, so compelling. All right, so Martha, can you share how Grab is riding the BNPL wave?
Morning, everyone. Happy to be here, all the joining virtually from Manila. The rapid uptake of buy now, pay later propositions, particularly within the retail sector, continues to drive major growth and new opportunities. So we are very focused on accelerating the acceptance of pay later through our partner merchants across Singapore, Malaysia, and soon in the Philippines. So we are seeing this transformation in the market because of the flexibility that BNPL schemes provide, particularly for younger shoppers. And we've heard this earlier, the millennials and even the Gen Zs who are expected to grow and share in the next 4 to 5 years are choosing payment options that are best for their personal finance, at the same time, avoiding accrued debt as much as possible. I'm sure Canon would agree, through BNPL, merchants like Zalora now have instant access to a broader range of customers who were previously unreachable. Merchants are also reaping the benefits of less friction in the buying process, and as we heard earlier, even a decrease in cart abandonment, right? So whether it's pay now, pay later, or pay on installments, Grab Pay Later is quite unique in 2 ways. Firstly, we have put in place guardrails to protect our customers because we want to ensure that pay later is used responsibly. We customize each pay later quantum according to the user's Grab profile. We also utilize in-app notifications to remind users of upcoming payments. And in the event that you miss a payment, further transactions will be not allowed on the Grab app. So we have been actively engaging with the regulators as well to ensure that the BNPL industry is sustainable in the long run. In fact, in Singapore, Grab was invited to develop a framework for the BNPL industry alongside other players. Secondly, aside from being able to offer pay later and Grab Pay to our consumers, Grab merchant partners also have access to a whole suite of products and services to grow their businesses, such as working capital loans. Our merchants are also able to increase their reach and visibility through Grab ads, improve retention and engagement through Grab rewards and analytics. And in addition to supporting small businesses, Grab can offer global and regional merchants such as Zalora seamless text integration across their different regional markets.
Thanks so much, Martha. Kanan, Yvonne, can we hear from you, please?
So with regards to the buy now, pay later segment, I think Lim did a very good job at explaining the nuances of the customer behavior behind the trends, right? What COVID have actually taught us is basically there was a credit crunch for sure in some segments, especially people from some industry where people had pay cards, people lost their job. This is a bit more realistic example of what's going on, right? And there were moments that you need to work from home and you need to get the monitor quickly, and then you know you can actually claim these expenses from your organization. And at that point of time, you can actually leverage on buy now, pay later then to purchase some equipment to enable you to work from home. Similarly, for students who are studying from home, and I guess this encompasses a lot of other verticals, other categories of expenses as well. I think buy now, pay later have actually helped us to reprioritize our expenses and making sure that we are able to obtain essentials at the immediate possible time, and then be able to then repay. Along the way, I guess there are also efficient guardrails being put together by the players in the space, where it enables a more sustainable and a more prudent spending. So the nuances or the notion around reckless spending does not really exist. Even in Zalora, we had some research around trying to identify if customers are coming back or the default rates are shooting up, and we work closely with our partners to identify this. And we noticed that people are coming back when they have completed the full payment cycles. And it actually increases the lifetime spent together with the merchant, and also I think it's good for the industry as a whole. So these are like some of the trends and some of the insights we are seeing as merchant, and we are definitely here to support the growth of buy now, pay later. And I believe with all the partnerships we have, with curated campaigns, marketing efforts and whatnot, we are barely scratching the surface, and it's a long way to go for us.
Thanks, Kana. Yvonne, what about for IT, Hypermark?
Okay, so due to the pandemic, actually, I think the digital transformation has been greatly accelerated. Previously, people just walk into the shop, people touch and feel, they buy, they pay, and they go. Of course, people do shop online as well. But due to the pandemic, especially during the lockdown, all the retail outlets are closed. We have no choice but to only rely on online channels. Okay, so what happened to ride on this trend? We actually introduced something called WhatsApp for delivery. People WhatsApp us, we quote them, they transfer the money via e-wallet, then we will pick and pack and ship it to them shortly after, within the same day. From the pandemic, we see that people has changed. Like, they buy things, they order food online, they buy groceries, they buy daily necessities. So this is clearly like a shift in the consumer behavior. Back to buy now, pay later, actually from our stats, we realized that the group is very appealing to the younger group, the age about 18 to 25. They are like the millennials, the Gen Z. They are tech savvy, they are early adopters, they are very willing to try new things. So from product-wise, as a retailer, we try to focus on things, product range that is more attractive to them, that's more related to them. For example, esports. I think just now it was also on the slides where it says esports is like one of the categories that a lot of people would spend on buy now, pay later. Things like gaming accessories, gaming chairs, gaming monitors, PS5. Lockdown, you have nothing to do. Everyone's buying PS5 at home. So, and of course, the outdoor range, like the drones, the fitness watch, lifestyle items like the soundbar, like the wireless earbuds. These are the items, unlike the smartphones, that everyone is like a necessity for everyone. But these are the cool gadgets that the Gen Z would like to own one. Okay. As for the marketing-wise, we are actually spending more on social media. Facebook, Instagram, boost posts. We engage KOLs, and KOLs, you can specifically target a certain group, like gamers, young professionals, students. I think a lot here would have agreed to me, yes, they are the great influencers. Okay, so in short, actually, I'm seeing there will be more collaborations with the Bnpl as the growth in this sector is huge. Okay, I think a lot of experts here would have some say on that too. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Yvonne. Okay, moving on to our last question. What are the trends in the e-commerce ecosystem do you foresee in the next 3 years that you think is important for our audience to know? Kanan, could you please just share, your thoughts?
Yes, taking an example of Grab, and also comparatively to all the e-commerce businesses out there, if you really identify the business model and untangle the model complexity around the model, there will be two key attributes that the model is driving. One is to offer convenience to the customer and giving that convenience at the lowest cost possible. And I think a lot of times I always speak in a lot of conferences and my speaking engagements where I always mention that, customers' expectation is ever evolving. When we first started Zalora 10 years ago, we were delivering within 3 days and people were like wowing at us. And today we deliver the next day, people still come back to us and say that, why don't you have a time slot delivery? So the expectation has really propelled and evolved. And if you look at e-commerce businesses as a whole, and people ask me, do you have like a crystal ball to predict what's going to happen next year? No, we don't. But as long as you focus on offering convenience and making sure transactions are seamless in your platform, you would be able to consistently meet the customer's demand and evolution of their aspiration. So that's my key thought on this one.
Thanks, Kana. Chiri?
Yeah, I think what I'll try to do is probably cover some larger trends, maybe not just in the payment space that we are seeing in commerce. And one of the things that we're really seeing is change in terms of spending habits. Consumers are becoming more conscious than ever in terms of the brands that they are spending with. And a big question that a lot of consumers are asking brands is, are you local? And they really want to support local businesses, local communities, local job creation. In fact, we did a recent survey where 47% of APAC consumers are actually saying that having a local presence is a key factor when they're actually buying a product from a brand. And very similar sort of findings even for Southeast Asia, where 60% of consumers actually stand by their local brands. Another question that they're asking is, what do you stand for as a brand? Like, what are your brand values? And again, like a whopping 77% of consumers, they said that, they really take into consideration the environmental impact that the products that they're buying have. So people now are really buying from brands, which they can resonate with in terms of geography, in terms of brand values, sustainability. And we truly feel that in the next coming years, brands need to be competing not on price, but on brand values instead. The other trend that we are seeing is very similar to what actually Priyanka covered earlier, is in terms of, the rise or the need rather of having an omni-channel presence. Where, the last 2 years was about, going online, buying, selling online, and the flight to digital. But, you really can't, not sort of shower a light on the popularity and the magic really of in real life experiences and, in real life shopping really ramping back up. And what we're trying to say is it's not one over the other. Consumers pretty much want it all. And, similar sort of experiences where the lines are really blurring between online and in-store shopping for consumers. And for brands to stay competent, there is a need to sort of invest in omni-channel presence and also in tools which will help you unify, your online as well as offline operations and really give, buyers that cohesive experience that they really come to expect.
Thanks, Chiri. Sarita, what are the trends that are of interest to Stripe?
I would concur with the ideas that have been shared already, and I would like to add a few. I think what we're also seeing at Stripe, and really we're seeing this in the market itself, that there is this progressive shift from credit cards to alternative payment methods. So think about the alternative methods that you are offering to your consumers, and that can be GrabPay, that can be something like Pay Now. And as I mentioned before, meeting our consumers where they are at is what is going to not only increase their retention, but increase your revenue. And so digital wallets is something else that we should be thinking about. The proliferation of these digital wallets across Southeast Asia is quite pronounced. So we need to think about which wallets do we offer, how do we offer them, and the ease at which you can bring them to market for your businesses. So that's definitely one. Another that I'd like to add is, and something that we don't always like to talk about, fraud. Southeast Asian businesses, our business models, the way that we're going to market, cross-border transactions, these are all increasing in number and complexity. Right? This is a natural evolution of what we've seen through digital transformation. But the challenge with that is that Southeast Asian businesses also become a greater target for fraudsters, and they are getting more and more sophisticated. And so some of the interesting statistics are that 8 out of 10 merchants in Asia Pacific have experienced some kind of fraudulent transactions, and they have lost revenue accordingly. So you need to be thinking about how you protect your business against fraud. And when I think about some of the Stripe solutions that we have, from Radar to Identity, we help businesses of all sizes, from the most nascent startups to the largest Fortune 500 companies, to develop solutions to both detect as well as block fraud. So it's definitely something that we need to think about. And as Kanan mentioned, customer centricity. Look, we've just gone through and continue to go through the headwinds associated with the pandemic. We've got geopolitical tensions, and in the last few months, we've definitely seen increasing pressure in financial markets. This is something that impacts us all. So being able to delight your customers, grow average order value, find new customers, retain them, is something that is very, very important, and only increasingly so. And what that really translates to is how we think about our engagement with our consumers. And so a study that Stripe did, for example, of the top e-commerce players across Asia Pacific, is that 95% of them had more than 5 basic errors in their checkout process. Now, the real life impact of that is adding friction to the way that your customers engage with you. So you want to think about, how do I streamline this process to make it frictionless so that I can achieve all of those business goals, increased revenue, greater customer centricity. So if we think about those kinds of trends as well, really super important to think about how your infrastructure, how your go-to-market can address some of those challenges.
Thanks, Rita. Martha, trends that you can share with us?
Sure. In a time where social distancing and, payment distancing have become the norm, new habits and new purchasing behaviors have really emerged. Omnichannel marketing, as we've heard today, is a critical component in the customer journey. So it is important for merchants to interact with the customer wherever they are, as and when they are, web rooming or searching for or researching on a specific product. And ideally, merchants must engage them at that exact moment when they're most inclined to buy. And COVID has certainly accelerated cash adoption, and it will continue to do so. Players who wish to succeed must be able to deliver the greatest consumer and merchant value over time. And the key factor in the rise of alternative payment methods, along with Bnpl, is really driven by the consumer's desire for a convenient, hassle-free, and omnichannel payment experience. With Grab Pay Later, we provide our consumers the flexibility to choose how they will pay. Again, pay now, next month, or in interest-free installments. Security is equally important. GrabPay provides multiple layers of protection through encryption, biometric authentication, and a 24/7 fraud detection system that's powered by AI. Finally, it has to be rewarding. GrabPay and Pay Later users can accumulate Grab rewards with their transaction. And what's unique about this rewards program is its interoperability. So you can earn Grab rewards in Singapore and use it in the Philippines. In the same breath, merchants will expect to have more value-added products and services from their payment providers. So for example, with Grab, we offer our merchants a suite of products and services to help them grow their businesses, such as flexible, secure, and rewarding payment options in GrabPay and Pay Later. I would say Bnpl is still quite nascent in Southeast Asia, and it will definitely continue to increase in popularity. So we also expect to see greater consolidation in the Bnpl industry over time. And to succeed in a region as diverse as Southeast Asia, and where credit information isn't readily available, it's very important for Bnpl players to be able to have access to alternative data. For Grab, our data, technology, and ecosystem with over 23 million monthly transacting users enables us to assess the creditworthiness of our users before extending a customized Bnpl product to them. And this allows us to scale our business in a sustainable manner. So For us at GrabTest, we will be doubling down on our efforts to accelerate acceptance of Pay Later while constantly seeking ways to outserve both our merchants and consumers with our One Grab offerings.
Thank you so much, Martha. Wish we could go on, but that wraps up the time that we have for today. A very big thank you once again to our panelists for joining us. And Kareem, back to you.
We have come to the end of the main conference segment, but what we're going to do is we're actually going to break out in the respective countries so that we can get a bit more cozy and intimate. So I just want to express a big thank you once again to all of our speakers and panelists today who have taken the time to share. I hope everyone has taken away something useful or learned something interesting. I know I certainly have. With that, I will leave you in the very good hands of our country host. I thank you for allowing me to have taken you through today, and we'll see you at the next one. Thank you.